My wife accused me of cheating and kicked me to the couch. But when I turned the spare room into a bachelor pad, the ending shattered her world. I'm Nick, 35, male, been married to Rachel for 8 years. I work as a senior project manager at a tech firm. Rachel's in pharmaceutical sales. We've got a nice house in the suburbs, 2-car garage, the whole American dream package, or at least we did. 7 months ago, everything went sideways over the stupidest possible thing. Rachel's best friend Paige came over to hang out. They were planning some kind of girls' trip, drinking in our living room, doing that high-pitched laugh. I was in the garage working on my car, changing the oil, minding my own business. Around 8 p.m., Paige said her goodbyes and headed out. I was washing my hands at the garage sink when I heard her struggling with something by her car. Walked over and she'd gone to Costco before coming over. Had like 6 bags of groceries and a 40-pack of water bottles in her trunk. She looked embarrassed. Hey Nick, sorry. I know you're busy, but could you help me load these? My back's been killing me. By the way, Paige is 32, married to some finance bro named Grant who's never around. She's Rachel's college roommate, practically family at this point. I've helped her move furniture, fix her garbage disposal, jump her car battery. This is just what you do for people, you know. So I grabbed the water bottles and a couple of heavy bags, walked them to her car. She thanked me. We chatted for maybe 90 seconds about how Costco is a trap that makes you buy 50 pounds of stuff you don't need. I made some joke about the industrial-sized jar of pickles I bought last month that's still half full. She laughed. I went back to my garage. 10 minutes later, Rachel came storming into the garage, face red, eyes crazy. That specific energy that tells you you're about to get hit with something insane. I was still under the car, literally lying on my back on a creeper with a wrench in my hand when I heard her heels clicking on the concrete. She starts screaming about how I was flirting with Paige, how I was eyeing her in our driveway, how I was so obvious about it. How I'm a piece of trash who disrespects her in her own house. The acoustics in the garage made her voice echo, amplifying the crazy. I rolled out from under the car slowly, oil on my hands, trying to process whatever the heck was happening. What the heck are you talking about? I helped her carry groceries. Don't freaking gaslight me, Nick. I saw how you looked at her. I saw you touching her bags, her grocery bags that I was carrying to her car. You were flirting. You think I'm stupid? You think I don't see it? I put the wrench down and tried to stay calm. Rachel, I've helped Paige with stuff 100 times. You've been there for most of it. This is insane. Wrong thing to say. Never call a woman insane when she's already acting insane. She went nuclear. You're sleeping on the couch until you apologize and admit what you did. I looked at her, looked at the couch through the doorway, looked back at her, and something in me just clicked. This was a test, a manipulation. She was manufacturing a crisis to get me to grovel. I'd seen her do this before with smaller things, but never at this level. So I decided to play it differently. I wiped my hands on a rag and said one word. Okay. She blinked. The surprise on her face was almost funny. She expected me to argue, to defend myself, to beg for forgiveness for crimes I didn't commit. Okay, that's it? Yep, I'll sleep on the couch. Don't you have anything to say? Nope. I walked past her, grabbed a pillow from our bedroom and sat up on the couch. She stood in the doorway, staring at me like I'd grown a second head. I could see the wheels turning. She expected resistance. Expected me to fight for my spot in the bed, to beg, to negotiate. That's how this was supposed to go in her head. But I was done playing games I didn't sign up for. Fine, I'd sleep on the couch, but I wasn't apologizing for helping a friend with groceries. That's where my line was. Then she left, stormed off to the bedroom, and slammed the door hard enough that a picture frame rattled on the wall. Probably expected me to come crawling back within an hour. That first night sucked. My neck was killing me by 2 a.m., but I wasn't budging. I didn't do anything wrong. Helping someone isn't a crime, and I'll be darned if I'm apologizing for basic human decency. Morning came. I got up at 6 a.m., like always, made coffee, and got ready for work. Rachel came down around 7, all smug and superior. Ready to apologize? Nope. Her face tightened. Fine, enjoy the couch. I went to work, had a regular day, came home. She'd made dinner for herself, just herself, left nothing for me. Petty move, but whatever. I ordered Thai food and ate it on my couch. This went on for 3 days. My back was absolutely destroyed. The couch was torture, but I wasn't breaking. Every morning she'd ask if I was ready to apologize. Every morning I'd say no. Every evening she'd make a point of doing things without me, eating without me, living her life like I was already gone. By day 4 I was done with the couch. We've got a spare room upstairs. Used to be for guests, but Rachel's mom hasn't visited in 2 years, and her brother lives in Seattle. The room's mostly storage. Rachel's old clothes, boxes of random junk, an air mattress in the corner. I grabbed my pillow and moved up there. The air mattress was only slightly better than the couch, but at least I could stretch out. Rachel noticed immediately. Couch too uncomfortable for you? Yep. Then apologize. Nope. She actually smiled like she'd won something, like I was suffering and that made her happy. That smile told me everything I needed to know about where this marriage was headed. But here's the thing about me. I'm stubborn as heck when I know I'm right, and I adapt. If she wanted me out of the bedroom, fine, but I wasn't going to suffer for her delusions. I started thinking. I make good money. Rachel makes good money. We keep separate checking accounts for personal spending after bills. I had about $4,000 saved up for a new home gym setup I'd been planning. Looking at that spare room, looking at all the wasted space, looking at Rachel's smug face every morning, I had an idea. Why the heck should I be uncomfortable in my own house? If she wanted to play games, I'd play. Day 5 of exile. I ordered a king-size memory foam mattress online. Setting that thing up was therapeutic. I lay down on it that night and literally laughed. It was like sleeping on a cloud made of middle fingers pointed directly at Rachel. But a mattress was just the start. That room was still half full of Rachel's junk and outdated furniture. If I was going to live here, it needed to actually be livable. I spent day 6 measuring everything, planning the layout in my head. The room's about 14 by 16 feet. Decent size, big window on the east wall, closet on the north wall, currently full of Rachel's clothes. Day 7, I hit up Facebook Marketplace. Found a guy selling a leather sectional recliner for $250. This thing was beautiful. Real leather, barely used, power recline with USB charging ports built into the armrest. The guy was going through a divorce and liquidating his man cave. I felt a spiritual connection. Borrowed my buddy Connor's truck. He's my college roommate and best friend, perfect guy to have around for moral support. We hauled the recliner back to my place while Rachel was at her Pilates class. Got it up to the spare room. It fit perfectly in the corner. Connor looked around the room and said, "Dude, what's going on?" I explained the situation, the false accusation, the couch. He listened to the whole thing while we positioned the recliner. Then he just started laughing. "You're building a bachelor pad inside your own marriage." Technically, she's forcing me to. This is either genius or insane. Why not both? We grabbed drinks from the garage fridge and toasted to whatever the heck I was doing. Connor left around 9 p.m., shaking his head and laughing the whole way to his truck. I sat in my new recliner in my new room on my new mattress and felt something I hadn't felt in weeks. Peace. No wondering when the next accusation would drop. No walking on eggshells. No waiting for her mood to shift. Just peace. Day 8. I bought a 65-inch 4K TV from Best Buy. $1,200, worth every penny. Mounted it on the wall opposite the bed. Perfect viewing angle from either the bed or the recliner. Bought a soundbar too. The audio quality in that room became better than our living room setup, which ticked Rachel off to no end when she heard it through the door. Day 9 brought the technical necessities. I ordered a mini fridge from Amazon, $80. Got a microwave too, $75. Some floating shelves for storage, a decent rug that tied the room together. Rachel noticed the packages showing up. I'd see her watching from the window when delivery trucks pulled up. She never said anything, but her face got tighter every time. She thought I was suffering. She had no idea I was enjoying this. By day 10, I started moving her stuff out. I didn't throw anything away, just relocated it. Her old clothes went to the attic. Her boxes of random junk went to the basement. Every square inch I reclaimed felt like a victory. Day 12, I upgraded my entertainment situation. PlayStation 5. I'd been wanting one for months, but Rachel always said it was a waste of money. Well, guess what? My money, my room, my PlayStation. Also grabbed a gaming chair. One of those racing-style ones with lumbar support. My back had taken enough abuse on that couch. I installed LED strip lighting around the ceiling, color-changing, controllable from my phone. I also bought a decent desk, solid wood, huge surface area, set up my laptop, some books, and a nice lamp. The room was transforming. What started as a spare room full of junk was becoming something else entirely. My space, my sanctuary. Rachel finally noticed something was up around week 2. She'd been walking past the closed door twice a day, probably assuming I was suffering in there on an air mattress. One evening she tried the door handle. It didn't budge. "Nick, why is the door locked?" I'd installed a keypad lock that afternoon. Digital code, only I know the numbers. "Privacy," I called through the door. "What the heck do you need privacy for? Same reason you kicked me out of our bedroom." Silence, then aggressive door handle jiggling, then pounding. "Open this door right now." "No." "Nick, I swear to God, you can swear all you want. This is my room now." I heard her stomp away. Heard her on the phone with her mom. Loud conversation about me being crazy, me being childish, me ruining our marriage. Her mom, bless her, asked what I'd actually done wrong. Rachel couldn't give a straight answer, just kept saying I knew what I did. I smiled and went back to setting up my sound system. By week 3, I'd spent close to $5,000 transforming that room, and honestly, best investment of my life. I had everything. A comfortable bed. A perfect entertainment setup. A mini fridge stocked with cold drinks and snacks. A microwave for easy meals. Temperature control because I'd bought a small space heater and a fan. The room had become more than just a place to sleep. It was proof that I didn't need her permission to be comfortable in my own house. I'd spent 8 years compromising on everything from furniture to paint colors to where I could keep my stuff. Not anymore. This space was 100% mine. I even got a small coffee maker. Wake up, make coffee, start my day without ever leaving the room. I was living my best life. Rachel tried a few tactics. Stop doing my laundry. Joke's on her. I bought a portable washer-dryer combo off Craigslist for $500. Fits in my closet. I do my laundry on my schedule now. She stopped cooking for me. Cool. I started meal prepping on Sundays. Chicken, rice, vegetables, all portioned out for the week, stored in my mini fridge. I also bought an air fryer. $90. That thing is magic. I was eating better than I had in years. Every attempt she made to punish me just made me more independent. It was like she was helping me build a better life without realizing it. Connor came over one Saturday to watch football. We were in my room, sodas from my fridge, game on my TV, and he just looked around and said, "I need to annoy my girlfriend so I can build one of these." We both laughed. Rachel did not appreciate Connor being over. She started yelling through the door about how that room is for guests. I yelled back that Connor is a guest. She threatened to call the cops. I told her to go ahead. The pounding stopped. My room became my whole world. I'd work from home sometimes using my desk setup. I'd game at night. I'd read. I'd work out using resistance bands and a yoga mat I'd bought. I was more productive and happier than I'd been in years. Rachel was in the master bedroom, probably seething. But that wasn't my problem anymore. She made her choice. I made mine, and mine came with a mini fridge and a PlayStation. By then, Rachel and I barely spoke. We were roommates who actively avoided each other. She'd make dinner for herself in the kitchen. I'd heat up my meal prep in my room. We'd pass in the hallway like strangers. The whole situation was weird, but honestly, less stressful. I started timing my movements to avoid her. I'd listen for her footsteps, wait until she was in a different part of the house before I'd venture out. Same with her. I'd hear her pause outside the bathroom when I was in there, then walk away. We were both playing this game of pretending the other person didn't exist. It was pathetic and sad, but somehow easier than actually dealing with the problem. But she couldn't let it go. She needed to win, needed me to break, and when I didn't, she started escalating. First came the passive-aggressive nonsense. She'd blast music early in the morning. I bought noise-canceling headphones. She'd use all the hot water before I woke up. I adjusted my schedule and showered at night. Then she started trying to manipulate me through other people. Her mom called me at work one day. "Nick, honey, what's going on with you and Rachel? I heard things are tense between you two." She kicked me out of our bedroom for helping her friend carry groceries. Silence. Then, "Are you kidding me? That's what this is about." "Yep, and you won't just apologize for what? Being a decent person." More silence. "She says you're living in the spare room and won't come out." "I come out plenty. I just sleep in there and exist in there because she exiled me." I heard Rachel in the background yelling something. Her mom said, "You two need counseling. I'm not the one who needs counseling." She hung up. Rachel tried the same thing with my mom. My mom called and I explained the situation. She laughed, literally laughed. Said, "Your father slept in the garage for a week once. You're doing better than that." I love my mom. Rachel's friends started getting involved. Paige called to apologize. "Nick, I'm so sorry. I had no idea me asking for help would cause this." "It's not your fault. Rachel's being irrational. She's really upset though." "About what? Me helping you with groceries?" Paige went quiet. "When you put it like that, it does sound ridiculous." "It is ridiculous. Maybe you should just apologize though to keep the peace." "If I apologize for this, what's next? Do I apologize every time I talk to a woman? Every time I help a neighbor?" She didn't have an answer for that. We hung up on good terms. But the fact that even Paige thought I should cave told me how well Rachel was playing the victim. Then Rachel tried a different approach. She started being nice. She'd make my favorite dinners and leave them in the kitchen with a note. "Made your favorite. Miss you." I'd see the food, order pizza, and eat in my room. She bought me a new watch, left it on the kitchen counter with another note. "Saw this and thought of you. I left it there. She could return it." She started walking around the house in lingerie. I'd come home and she'd be on the couch in some Victoria's Secret situation. All casual like this was normal. I'd nod, say hey, and go to my room. The look of frustration on her face was priceless. The nice phase lasted about 2 weeks. When it didn't work, she switched tactics again. She changed the Wi-Fi password. Didn't tell me. I came home, couldn't connect, just smiled and called Comcast. Got my own internet line installed directly to my room. $90 a month. The technician thought it was weird that I wanted a separate internet connection in the same house, but I tipped him $50 and he stopped asking questions. Then she started inviting people over constantly. Wine nights, book clubs, some kind of jewelry pyramid scheme party, all of them deliberately loud, all right outside my door. I cranked up my soundbar and kept gaming. Didn't bother me at all. Then came the big move. Let's say the final straw. I came home from work one Tuesday to find my door wide open. The lock was removed, just completely gone. Holes in the door where it used to be. I walked in and immediately saw someone had been through my stuff. My PlayStation was unplugged, moved to a different spot. My mini fridge was unplugged, food inside starting to spoil. My bed was stripped, sheets piled on the floor. My desk drawers were open, papers everywhere. There was a note on my keyboard. Inspection for damages. You're destroying property. Rachel. I stood there for a minute looking at the violation of my space. Then something in me shifted. I'd been playing defense, reacting to her moves, building my space, but not really fighting back. Time to go on offense. I pulled out my phone and took photos of everything. The removed lock, the disturbed belongings, the unplugged appliances, the note, everything documented with timestamps. Then I called her. She answered on the first ring. What the heck, Rachel? The room needed inspection. You broke into my room and destroyed my property. It's my house too. I can go wherever I want. You removed my lock. That's destruction of property. Prove it. I hung up, didn't argue, just hung up and made another call. Connor answered. What's up? I need a lawyer, a good one. And I need a better lock. Connor hooked me up with his divorce lawyer, guy named Dalton, mid-40s, the kind of lawyer who smiles when you tell him your spouse is crazy because he knows he's about to make money. I sat in his office the next day, laid out the whole situation, the false accusation, the exile, the escalation, the property destruction. Dalton took notes on a yellow legal pad, nodding occasionally, his smile getting wider. He didn't interrupt once, just let me talk. When I got to the part about her removing my lock and going through my stuff, he actually leaned forward, suddenly more interested. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. This is financial and emotional abuse. You know that, right? I hadn't thought about it like that. But yeah, kicking me out of the bedroom, trying to control my access to my own house, destroying my property when I established boundaries, manipulating everyone around us to make me the bad guy. Hearing him say it out loud made it real in a way it hadn't been before. What are my options? Well, you could get a divorce, clean break, but that takes time and costs money. What else? We could file for legal separation with a temporary exclusive use order. Essentially, we formalize household boundaries. She can't enter your room. If she violates those boundaries, we have documentation for a protective order or future divorce filing. How fast? I can have papers drawn up by tomorrow. Good. Do it. Dalton put together a package requesting temporary exclusive use of the spare room, reimbursement for the destroyed lock and property damage, and formal household boundaries. He included all my documentation, everything organized and professional. Rachel got served at work 3 days later. I was in my room when my phone exploded with texts. You got a freaking lawyer? Are you freaking serious? I'm not signing anything. I didn't respond, just smiled and kept playing my game. She came home an hour later. I heard the front door slam, heard her stomping up the stairs, then pounding on my door. Nick, open this freaking door. I'd installed a new lock. This one was even better. $400. Commercial grade. You'd need a battering ram to get through it. No, you can't do this. I just did. This is my house too. And that's my room. The lawyers will sort it out. More pounding. Then I heard her on the phone calling someone, crying, yelling, playing the victim. I turned up my sound system and drowned her out. Dalton called me that evening. She hired a lawyer, a guy named Bernard. He's okay, not great. Called me this afternoon. Said your wife wants to negotiate. What's the offer? You drop the legal separation. She promises to leave your room alone. Everything goes back to normal. Define normal. You apologize. Move back to the bedroom. Pretend none of this happened. Hard pass. That's what I told him. He said she's willing to go to court. So am I. Dalton laughed. I like you. This is going to be fun. But Rachel wasn't done trying to manipulate her way out. She went full victim mode to everyone she knew. Started posting cryptic messages on Facebook. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. I'm learning that sometimes the person you take a bullet for is the one behind the trigger. That kind of pseudo-deep nonsense. Her friends started messaging me asking what was going on. Why was I being so cruel? Didn't I love my wife? I ignored most of them, but Paige messaged me directly. Nick, Rachel's really struggling. She's saying some wild things. What's happening? I sent her a long message. Explained everything. The false accusation, the exile, the escalation, the property destruction, the legal separation request. Paige read it and didn't respond for an hour. Then, Jesus Christ, She told us you were having an affair with who? Me? I actually laughed because I carried your groceries. I asked her about that. She said there was more to it, that you'd been flirting with me for months. Paige, I'm literally fighting a legal battle because I won't apologize for helping you. Does that sound like someone having an affair? No, it doesn't. Paige stopped responding to Rachel's messages after that. I found out later she told their entire friend group the truth. Rachel lost about 4 friends that week. They all thought she'd lost her mind. The separation hearing was set for 3 weeks out. Dalton said it was straightforward. We had documentation, witnesses, and clear evidence of her behavior. The judge would likely grant the temporary exclusive use order, but 3 weeks is a long time when someone's spiraling, and Rachel was about to go completely off the rails. But then she decided if she couldn't manipulate me, she'd manipulate everyone else. She started a full-blown smear campaign online. She posted on Facebook about abuse, didn't mention my name, but anyone who knew us could connect the dots. She talked about financial and emotional abuse and alienation. Made herself out to be this victim trapped in her own home. The post got 200 likes and dozens of supportive comments. Connor sent me a screenshot. You seeing this? Yep. You going to respond? Nope. Dalton said the same thing. Don't engage. Let her dig her own grave. Rachel's mom called my mom. Told her I was abusing her daughter. My mom, bless her, laughed and said, "He's sleeping in a spare room because he helped someone carry groceries. That's having manners." Rachel's mom hung up on her. My mom called me right after to tell me about it, still laughing. "That woman has always been dramatic," she said. "Rachel gets it from her." Then she started calling my work, the main office number. She'd ask for me, then just cry and hang up when they transferred her. After the 3rd time, our receptionist, Maria, asked if everything was okay. I explained briefly. Maria started screening the calls after that. But the real explosion came 2 weeks before the hearing. I came home from work on a Thursday to find Paige sitting uncomfortably in the dining room. Rachel was in the kitchen cooking, playing the perfect wife. Paige looked sorry and like she'd rather not be there. "Nick, you're home." Paige came over. "I'm making salmon." I looked at Paige, then at Rachel. Understood immediately. This was a setup. "Hey Paige," I said, then to Rachel, "I've got plans. You two have fun." Her face fell. "What plans? Dinner with Connor? You didn't tell me." "I don't need to." I grabbed a protein shake and went to my room. I heard Rachel trying to salvage the situation, her voice getting higher, heard Paige making excuses about an early morning. Paige left 10 minutes later. Rachel started pounding on my door. "You embarrassed me. You embarrassed yourself. I made your favorite dinner. I didn't ask you to. I didn't open the door." The pounding stopped. I heard crying on the other side. Then she walked away. 3 days before the hearing, I came home to find the house empty. Rachel's car was gone. The master bedroom was cleaned out. Her clothes and her stuff were all gone. Perfect. She'd moved out voluntarily. There was a note on the kitchen counter. "Since you want to live alone so badly." I called Dalton. "She moved out." Perfect. That helps our case. I documented everything. Then I walked up to my room and realized something. The silence. Oh, the silence. I was relieved. Then the hearing time came and it was brief. The judge reviewed the filings, looked at the evidence. She asked Rachel directly why she'd removed me from the bedroom. Rachel tried to explain about the flirting, about feeling disrespected. The judge cut her off. "You kicked your husband out for helping your friend, then destroyed his property when he adapted to the situation you created. I'm granting the temporary exclusive use order for the spare bedroom. Mrs. Williams, you are not to enter that room without written permission. Violation will result in contempt charges." Rachel started crying. Her lawyer, Bernard, looked defeated. We walked out. Dalton was grinning. That went well. But Rachel wasn't done. Not by a long shot. After the hearing, Rachel went quiet for about a week. I thought maybe she'd finally accepted reality. I was wrong. I'd installed cameras in the common areas after Dalton recommended it for documentation. I checked the footage one afternoon from work. Rachel had come to the house around 11 a.m. She looked terrible, crying, disheveled. She wandered around like a ghost, touching things, picking up photos. Then she went upstairs, tried my door. It was locked. She stood there for a minute, then walked away, but she didn't leave. She went to the master bedroom and started destroying things. Her own things. Threw her makeup against the mirror, shattering it, pulled clothes out and threw them everywhere. Then she sat on the floor and cried for an hour. I sent the video to Dalton. "Don't be home alone with her," he said. "If she shows up, leave." That weekend, Rachel's texts started getting unhinged. "I know you're screwing around with her. You're going to regret this." I screenshot everything, didn't respond to her. Connor came over Saturday to watch the UFC fights. Around 10 p.m. we heard banging downstairs. The camera showed Rachel at the front door pounding on it. She kept going for 5 minutes, then started yelling. Then boom, I heard glass break. She'd thrown a freaking rock through the front window. I called 911, reported the vandalism. The responding officers reviewed the camera footage showing Rachel throwing the rock. The officer documented everything for the report. Rachel screamed, called me every name in the book, claiming it was her house too. The officers explained she'd be charged with vandalism and that I could pursue a restraining order if needed. They made her leave for the night to de-escalate the situation. After they left, I stood in my living room looking at the cracked window. Connor was still there, soda in hand, just shaking his head. Dude, she's completely lost it. You good? I'm fine, just tired of this stuff. We cleaned up the glass, covered the window until I could get it fixed. The whole time I kept thinking about how we'd picked out this house together 5 years ago. How excited we'd been. How we'd talked about growing old here. Now she was throwing rocks through the windows. Life's funny that way sometimes. I documented everything. Added the police report to Dalton's file. She started calling my family after that. My mom, my dad, my brother. Told them I was abusing her, forcing her out, having an affair. My mom called me. She needs help. Professional help. I know. Dalton pushed for a full divorce. She violated the court order. She's harassing you and your family. We have enough. Let's do it. The divorce papers were filed 3 days later. She got served at her sister's place. Her sister Vicky called me that night. Nick, what's going on? She told me you're divorcing her out of nowhere. I explained everything. Vicky listened and sighed. She's not okay, drinking every night. Going through your social media at 3 a.m. I'm sorry she's going through this, but I didn't cause it. The divorce would take at least 6 months to finalize under California law. Mandatory waiting period from service. Rachel contested everything. Wanted the house, alimony, half my retirement, the cars, even my freaking PlayStation. Dalton countered with documentation of the false accusations, the abuse, the property destruction, the court order violation. He painted a clear picture of manufactured crisis followed by escalating instability. Bernard didn't have much to work with. Every claim he made, we had evidence to refute, but we weren't waiting 6 months. Dalton filed an emergency motion for exclusive possession of the entire residence based on her violation of the court order and the vandalism. The judge granted it 2 weeks after the rock incident. She was legally barred from the property entirely. That's when I changed all the exterior locks. Finally legal to do it. The mediation was scheduled for month 6. That's when everything would get finalized. That's when she would finally face reality. The mediation was held at Dalton's firm. Big conference room, neutral territory. Me with Dalton on one side, Rachel and Bernard on the other. Rachel looked terrible. Unkempt hair, dark circles. She kept fidgeting with her phone, avoiding eye contact. Part of me felt bad seeing her like that, but then I remembered the months of chaos, the false accusations, the manipulation, the rock through my window. The sympathy evaporated pretty quick. The mediator, Frank, was a veteran, seen-it-all type. He laid out the assets efficiently. The house appraised at $680,000 with $280,000 mortgage balance, giving us $400,000 equity. 2 cars valued at $60,000 combined. Retirement accounts totaling $340,000 per the latest statements. Personal property estimated at $40,000. Frank addressed both sides. Standard division would be equal split. Does anyone contest this? Dalton spoke up. We're contesting. We're seeking a settlement that accounts for significant property damage, legal fees incurred due to Mrs. Williams's behavior, and violation of court orders. He slid over a binder 3 inches thick. Every text, every photo, every video, every court document, every police report, the entire months-long saga chronologically documented. I'd watched him put it together over the past few weeks. Seeing it all compiled like that was something else. Your client manufactured a crisis, destroyed property, violated a court order, and engaged in targeted harassment. Bernard flipped through the binder, his face paling with each page. Rachel cried quietly beside him like she thought her version of events would just be taken at face value. Frank reviewed the documentation for 20 minutes without speaking. Then he looked up. Mrs. Williams, you removed your husband from the bedroom because he helped a friend carry groceries? Rachel whispered. It was more than that. According to this, that's exactly what happened. You also destroyed his property by removing his lock and unplugging his belongings. I was checking for damages. You violated the separation order by appearing at the residence and throwing a rock through the window. Rachel sobbed. He made me crazy. He's been sleeping with Paige. Dalton pulled out Paige's notarized statement, detailing her platonic friendship with both of us and explicitly denying any inappropriate relationship. He slid it across. Bernard read it and closed his eyes. Rachel. Frank studied. Rachel. Do you have evidence of an affair? I know what I saw. That's not evidence. Dalton spoke. We're requesting she reimburse our legal fees. Currently $12,000 plus $3,000 for property damage and court-related expenses. That's $15,000 in credits against her equity share. Frank considered the evidence. Given the documented behavior and court order violation, I'm recommending the following settlement. Mr. Williams retains the house and pays Mrs. Williams $185,000. That's her $200,000 equity share, minus $15,000 in damages and legal fee credits. Mr. Williams keeps his vehicle and 70% of the retirement accounts. Mrs. Williams keeps her vehicle and 30% of the retirement accounts. Personal property divides based on purchase receipts. Bernard whispered to Rachel. She shook her head repeatedly, but he kept talking. Finally, Bernard said, "We need time to consider." Dalton smiled. 48 hours. After that, we proceed to trial and request less favorable terms. We left. She was still crying. The next day, Bernard called. Rachel was accepting the terms. Papers were signed a week later. I wrote Rachel a check for $185,000. She didn't look at me, just took it and left. The divorce finalized 6 months after she was first served. I got the email notification. Your marriage to Rachel Ann Williams has been dissolved. I was in my room when I read it, sitting in my recliner. The game paused on my TV. 8 years of marriage reduced to a single line in an email. No ceremony, no final conversation, just a notification that arrived between a spam email about car insurance and a reminder about my dentist appointment. I should have felt something. Sadness, maybe. But I was just tired of the drama, tired of the fighting. I smiled. 2 weeks later, Rachel started blowing up my phone at 2 a.m. You destroyed my life. I'm broke because of you. I hope you're happy. I blocked her number. Changed mine the next day. Blocked her on all social media. I was completely done. Connor helped me change the locks one more time just in case. Good call. We grabbed drinks after, sat in my room. So what now? Connor asked. Now I live my life. We drank in silence. Then he said, You know what's wild? You won by doing nothing. That's actually funny. He was right. I'd won only by standing still. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Nick, this is Rachel using Vicky's phone. Please talk to me. I'm sorry I messed up. I'm in therapy. Can we please talk? I didn't respond. Blocked Vicky's number too. That night I slept better than I had in months. In my own house. In my own room. On my own terms. Now, to anyone dealing with similar nonsense, don't apologize for things you didn't do. Stand your ground. When they try to break you, build something better instead. I'm divorced. I've got an amazing house. Life is good.